Chapter 9 of the Riddle of the Sands. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recorded by Gesine. The Riddle of the Sands by Erskine Childers. Chapter 9. I Sign Articles. It was not an easy question to answer, for the affair was utterly outside my experience. Its background the sea, and its actual scene a region of the sea of which I was blankly ignorant. There were other difficulties that I could see perhaps better than Davies, an enthusiast with hobbies who had been brooding in solitude over his dangerous adventure. Yet both narrative and theory, which have lost, I fear, in interpretation to the reader, had strongly affected me. His forcible roughnesses, tricks of manner, sudden bursts of ardour, sudden retreats into shyness, making up a charm that I cannot render. I found myself continually trying to see the man through the boy, to distinguish sober judgment from the hot-headed vagaries of youth. Not that I dreamed for a moment of dismissing the story of his wreck as a hallucination. His clear blue eyes and sane simplicity threw ridicule on such treatment. Evidently, too, he wanted my help, a matter that might well have influenced my opinion on the facts, had he been other than he was. But it would have taken a finished and finite clod to resist the attraction of the man and the enterprise, and I take no credit whatever for deciding to follow him, right or wrong. So, when I stated my difficulties, I knew very well that we should go. "There are two main points that I don't understand," I said. "First, you've never explained why an Englishman should be watching those waters and ejecting intruders. Secondly, your theory doesn't supply sufficient motive. There may be much in what you say about the navigation of those channels, but it's not enough. You say he wanted to drown you, a big charge, requiring a big motive to support it. But I don't deny that you've got a strong case." Davies lighted up. "I'm willing to take a good deal for granted, until we find out more." He jumped up and did a thing I never saw him do before or since. Bumped his head against the cabin roof. "You mean that you'll come?" he exclaimed. "Why, I hadn't even asked you. Yes, I want to go back and clear up the whole thing. I know now that I want to. Telling it all to you has been such an immense relief. And a lot depended on you, too, and that's why I've been feeling such an absolute hypocrite. I say, how can I apologize?" "Don't worry about me. I've had a splendid time. And I'll come right enough. But I should like to know exactly what you— No, but wait till I just make a clean breast of it. About you, I mean. You see, I came to the conclusion that I could do nothing alone. Not that two are really necessary for managing the boat in the ordinary way, but for this sort of job you do want two. Besides, I can't speak German properly, and I'm a dull chap all round. If my theory, as you call it, is right, it's a case for sharp wits if ever there was one. So I thought of you. You're clever, and I know you had lived in Germany and knew German, and I knew," he added with a little awkwardness, "that you had done a good deal of yachting, but of course I ought to have told you what you came in for. Roughing it in a small boat with no crew. I felt ashamed of myself when you wired back so promptly, and when you came— Davies stammered and hesitated in the humane resolve not to wound my feelings. "Of course I couldn't help noticing that it wasn't what you expected," was the delicate summary he arrived at. "But you took it splendidly," he hastened to add. "Only, somehow, I couldn't bring myself to talk about the plan. It was good enough of you to come out at all, without bothering you with harebrained schemes. Besides, I wasn't even sure of myself. It's a tangled business. There are reasons still." He looked nervously at me, which make it a tangled business. I had thought a confidence was coming, and was disappointed. "I was in an idiotic state of uncertainty," he hurried on, "but the plan grew on me more and more, when I saw how you were taking to the life and beginning to enjoy yourself. All that about the ducks on the Frisian coast was humbug, part of a stupid idea of decoying you there and gaining time. However, you quite naturally objected, and last night I meant to chuck the whole thing up and give you the best time here I could. Then Bartels turned up." "Stop," I put in. "Did you know he might turn up when you sailed here?" "Yes," said Davies guiltily. "I knew he might, and now it's all come out, and you'll come. What a fool I've been!" Long before he had finished I had grasped the whole meaning of the last few days, and had read their meaning into scores of little incidents which had puzzled me. "For goodness' sake, don't apologize," I protested. "I could make confessions too if I liked, and I doubt if you've been such a fool as you think. I'm a patient that wants careful nursing, and it has been the merest chance all through that I haven't rebelled and bolted. We've got a good deal to thank the weather for, and other little stimulants, and you don't know yet my reasons for deciding to try your cure at all." "My cure?" said Davies. "What in the world do you mean? It was jolly decent of you to—" "Never mind. There's another view of it, but it doesn't matter now. Let's return to the point. What's your plan of action?" "It's this," was the prompt reply, "to get back to the North Sea, via Kiel and the Ship Canal. Then there will be two objects: one, to work back to Norderney, where I left off before, exploring all those channels, through the estuaries and islands; the other, to find Dollmann, discover what he's up to, and settle with him. The two things may overlap, we can't tell yet. I don't even know where he and his yacht are, but I'll be bound they're somewhere in those same waters, and probably back at Norderney." "It's a delicate matter," I mused dubiously, "if your theory's correct. Spying on a spy." "It's not like that," said Davies indignantly. "Anyone who likes can sail about there and explore those waters. I say, you don't really think it's like that, do you?" "I don't think you're likely to do anything dishonourable," I hastened to explain. "I grant you the sea's public property in your sense. I only mean that developments are possible which you don't reckon on. There must be more to find out than the mere navigation of those channels, and if that's so, mightn't we come to be genuine spies ourselves?" "And after all, hang it!" exclaimed Davies. "If it comes to that, why shouldn't we? I look at it like this. The man's an Englishman, and if he's in with Germany, he's a traitor to us, and we as Englishmen have a right to expose him. If we can't do it without spying, we've a right to spy, at our own risk." "There's a stronger argument than that. He tried to take your life." "I don't care a rap about that. I'm not such an ass as to thirst for revenge and all that, like some chap in a shilling shocker. But it makes me wild to think of that fellow masquerading as a German, and up to who knows what mischief enough to make him want to get rid of anyone. I'm keen about the sea, and I think they're apt to be a bit slack at home," he continued inconsequently. "Those Admiralty chaps want waking up. Anyway, as far as I'm concerned, it's quite natural that I should look him up again." "Quite," I agreed. "You parted friends, and they may be delighted to see you. You'll have plenty to talk about." I'm," said Davies, withered into silence by the "they." "Hullo, I say, do you know it's 3 o'clock? How the time has gone, and by Jove, I believe the fog's lifting." I returned with a shock to the present, to the weeping walls, the discoloured deal table, the ghastly breakfast litter, all the visible symbols of the life I had pledged myself to. Disillusionment was making rapid headway when Davies returned, and said with energy, "What do you say to starting for Kiel at once? The fog's gone and there's a breeze from the sou'west." "Now?" I protested. "Why, it'll mean sailing all night, won't it?" "Oh no," said Davies, "not with luck." "Why, it's dark at 7." "Yes, but it's only 25 miles. I know it's not exactly a fair wind, but we shall lie close-hauled most of the way. The glass is falling, and we ought to take this chance." To argue about winds with Davies was hopeless, and the upshot was that we started lunchless. A pale sun was flickering out of masses of racing vapour, and through delicate vistas between them the fair land of Schleswig now revealed and now withdrew her pretty face, as though smiling adieu to her faithless courtiers.